G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jono. Today I'm going to take my Marshall JMP 1959HW, I'm going to put it through the Captor X from Two Notes, and I'm also going to mic it up, and we're going to see the differences. This 1959HW Marshall is one of my favorite amps, if not my favorite that I've ever owned, really. It's the amp that I profiled and have used on my Kemper since I got the Kemper. It's what I've based all my performances off. I just love it. So today I chucked it through the Captor Two Notes because I wanted to kind of have that plexi growl and that plexi feeling again, but just without all the volume. But I discovered that it's kind of a bit different through the Captor X. Recently I published a video talking about how the Two Notes Captor X is a really great studio tool for putting your big 100-watt rigs through straight into your DAW. So I wanted to see how different the plexi would be, or the plexi style amp would be through the Captor X, because this thing is an absolute beast. Now, getting the audio from the Captor X into Logic, I decided to kind of just put on a couple of effects that will kind of try to probably make it a bit easier for me to play. So I put a delay on and a reverb on, the chroma verb and the stereo delay, just to kind of replicate what I'm really used to, and that's a fair amount of ambience. And this Marshall doesn't have an effects loop, so I can't really just put a delay, a halo, something like that in the effects loop because it doesn't have one. So I've done that on Logic, and I've kept that the same, those settings, those effects the same for when I've just mic'd this amp up. So the plexi is just getting mic'd up straight out of the orange cab into Logic, same channel with the stereo delay and the chroma verb. This Marshall has been modded by Sherlock Amps here in Melbourne, Victoria. And there's heaps of gain on tap, and it's an absolute monster. It's the loudest amp I have. I've got two other 100-watt amps, and this amp is still so much louder. So having something like the Two Notes to put it through is really great. But in playing the track for this video, man, it was so hard to play. The Captor X with this amplifier specifically really changes the way the amp feels under your fingers. I did mention that a little bit in the last video. I talked more about bass response in that one. The same thing applies here. You do have to tame the bass response either by EQ or on the amp itself. But the gain structure really felt different under my fingers. And I think you might be able to see on the track that I was actually having a hard time playing over that track when the amp was through the Captor X. I had a much easier time playing the amp just mic'd up in a cab in the room, despite how loud it was. I feel like I was able to get the tone of the Plexi through, a bit of the growl happening, especially with on the bridge pickup here on this Ibanez. But when I plugged into the amp just through the speaker cab and mic'd it up, I just felt it come alive again. And that's not to say that it didn't sound like a Plexi, but it felt more like a Plexi when it's just mic'd up. And I think we could all agree that an amplifier moving air physically, like when you're physically standing in a room and you can feel the air moving from an amplifier, you're getting a better experience. That's not to say that the Captor X doesn't make the amp sound like the amp. It still represents the amplifier really, really well. It's just completely changed the gain structure and you have to adapt to it. So hopefully I've adapted to it as well as I can. But if I had a choice and volume wasn't an issue, I'd be playing this amp through the speaker cab every single time. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. Please hit like and subscribe if you feel inclined. Don't forget to check out my website, grab some Kemper Profiles off there. It's johnoeastguitar.com.au, and I'll see you on the next video.